Okay, let me see your paper. Are you taking notes or not?
Talking about a recent challenge.
How exactly do you manage the students that come to you and say, like, I need only free discussion sessions?
I did it for my people, Iranian people, and it's so epic.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of English with Sarvi. Well, in this episode we're going to have another lesson. It's going to be another lesson observation. I have recorded one of my students. The objective of the lesson is actually speaking and only speaking. Well, yeah, she will be practicing listening too at the same time, because we cannot really have a speaking session, a free discussion session, just speaking from the beginning to the end. I mean, yes, a lot of students come to us and ask for free discussion sessions, and we do struggle with like providing the material for the class, because we don't know where to start from. When you have a book, you know where you are, what you're doing, but when you don't have a book, it's not that easy. So come and I will show you how it's done. Alright, before we start the session, let me tell you something. Recently, some of my friends, my old colleagues, have been asking me, how exactly do you manage the students that come to you and say, like, I need only free discussion sessions, I don't want to work on a book. They've got some sort of guard towards books. So how do you convince them that they actually need the book? Let's say that I don't convince them to do anything. I usually do a sort of needs analysis based on what really makes sense. I mean, if my student is a pre-intermediate student, it makes sense. I can work on only speaking. If they want, I can help them become more fluent in the level they are. But I will also tell them that if they want to improve, they will need to start a real course book. Then again, if the student is lower than pre-intermediate, I say no to it. Even if I lose the student, it's okay. I mean, I cannot really do what they ask me to, because that student lower than pre-intermediate means that that student is an elementary student needing a lot of input of grammar, input of vocabulary. So whether they like it or not, everything will go, will go on. Even if we don't have a course book, I have to somehow, give them the course book through other activities. So why lie to the student? I'm gonna tell the student that they need the feed of grammar and vocabulary. So that's done. Now that we know that, let me give you a suggestion about those students that actually it makes sense working on only free discussion sessions with them. You can take a look at the Speak Out book series, and at the end of, let's say, each unit, it has got 10 units. So usually at the end of each unit, we have got 2 pages. One of them is the DVD part, where they need to watch a video, and it's really interesting. Lots of great things happen in there. But usually the next page is very interesting for me, because I noticed that the objective of that page is exactly speaking and only speaking. They've got a listening part, then that's the part where we feed them like a bit more about the context of the whole unit. So it's actually a kind of revision too at the same time. And then they've got some key phrases taken from the same listening. So we are somehow preparing them a bit more for the speaking part. Then they need to take notes about some questions or some bullet points that again is a part of the preparation, and then they start speaking, which is the production part, or let's say the freer practice. And the more interesting thing about it is that even if you want, at the end, you have got a writing session too. So usually there is one sample of reading, and then from that reading with the same context, you've got one writing practice too at the same time. So it's like production at the same time. Which is really nice. Why am I repeating at the same time so much? I don't know. Okay, let's go and watch the lesson together. Okay.
Recording in progress. Let's go. So as I saw, we were on page 87. Let me start sharing so that we can be, before we do that, tell me, have you seen these Olympic wrestlers and also, athletes like
No,
Reza
it's a movie.
Zadeh, like, no, the athletes themselves, okay, that go for Olympic competitions? There was another wrestler that recently, Mr. Yazdani. Yeah.
Yes,
So, have you seen them speaking on TV?
just a part of that.
Usually, I mean, not one of them, not one special one, but usually, what do they talk about?
They talk about their experience, and sometimes about the happens that happen for them in during for example the race or competition.
The competition, okay.
Competition, and always they thanks no they تشکر.
Yeah, they thank someone.
They thank someone.
Oh yeah, they say, I did it for my people, Iranian people, and it's so epic. And yeah, it's so challenging. I usually feel really inspired. I feel like I'm inspired to do something when I see them. All right, speaking of that, let me share something with you. We are going to listen to someone talking about, talking about a recent challenge or achievement, and we want to answer these questions. So take a look at the questions.
Challenge, what your bad experience, what did you find easy, what problem did you face? Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Let's do this. Can you hear it?
No. No.
Nothing? Okay, wait a minute. Problem. I should share the sound. How about now?
A 10-year-old boy from Egypt.
Okay, so let me try it from the beginning.
Recording 5. It's interesting. One of the most intelligent people I know is a 10-year-old boy from Egypt. He doesn't go to school, and he works in a touristy area in Cairo. And he sells things to tourists, little souvenirs. Now, the reason I say he's intelligent is that he can sell you something in about 15 languages. I once spent an afternoon watching him, and it was incredible. Most of the time he uses English, but he guesses where you're from, and then he starts speaking your language. For example, he can speak a little bit of French, Spanish, Japanese, Italian, etc. It's amazing. He knows enough in all these languages to say hello and sell you something.
How did he learn the languages?
I asked him that, and he said he learnt them by talking to tourists.
That's amazing. Just talking to people, you can learn
it's not
so
the
much.
right one.
So, like I said, he doesn't go to school, but for me, he...
Unit 7.
I was like, why is it so familiar? I have listened to this before. Okay, go on. This is it.
Recording 8.
A couple of years ago, I learnt how to scuba dive, which was really exciting, really good experience. And when you're learning, half of the training is in the classroom and half is a practical in a swimming pool. So the classroom stuff was fine. I found it really quite easy. I was learning with my mum and she was really worried about doing the kind of more academic stuff and passing the exam, but I found that part okay. It was the practical stuff that I had trouble with, and she was really lucky. She was really good. But you go and you learn all the technical stuff, you know, how to go under the water, how to clear your mask if you get water in it, that kind of thing. And then you have to do 2 dives outside in a kind of reservoir or a quarry or, you know, something like that. But obviously, because I'm in the UK, it was really, really cold. And we woke up on the morning of our dive and there was ice on the water. So when we got there, we were very nervous and didn't want to get into the water. But once I was in, it was so freezing that I tried to go under the water. But the more I tried, the harder it got. And then I got very frustrated and started to cry. And then all my ears got blocked up and I couldn't get under. But eventually I managed it and went down, passed my test, did all of the skills that you need to do. Despite the fact I was so terrible at it, I managed to pass. And now I'm past, I can go anywhere I want, so I'll make sure it will be somewhere very hot. So to sum up, although it was a really difficult challenge, I'm so glad I managed it. For me, it was quite an achievement, and I'm proud of myself for having done it.
Okay.
Okay.
So what was her challenge?
That was very hard. She had training, and she's a swimmer, right?
Okay.
She's a swimmer.
Not exactly a swimmer. It was another sport. Remember?
That was in the
when you go
water.
very, very deep in water.
Yes,
What do we call it?
The name.
Okay, scuba diving. Let me write it for you.
Because she said how we clean the mask. Scuba.
All right. So was it a good or a bad experience for her?
For her, I think it's a bad experience because she had to. Why?
Go on. I mean, the part that was, I guess you paid attention to was the hard part. Okay.
Yes.
So.
And because of her accent.
Yes. Come on, tell me why. Why do you think it was a bad experience for her?
Bad experience because she had to practice in and she live in UK and she had to practice in the early morning, and she had to dive in a cold water, and sometimes that was icy.
Yeah,
ice
it was
water.
full of ice. Yeah, ice in the surface, and the water was freezing.
And the before that, I think she started with her mother. I mean, her mother.
Okay.
Okay.
I have another question. What did she find easy? I mean, everything was not hard. Some part of it was easy.
She could learn the skills and ability in scuba diving, about scuba diving.
We will listen to this part again. So what problems did she have? I guess you said one of them. One of them was that the water was really cold.
Yeah, and sometimes she cried and she didn't want to do that.
Because it was freezing.
Yes, and the last question, she managed to pass it, and finally she done it.
So was it a bad experience, Marjan?
No.
Now, after we finished question 5, do you still think that it was a fully bad experience?
Not bad. I mean, the whole of the practicing a situation was hard for her.
Yeah. Okay. Listen again. We want to know, what did she find easy, and not just this. also, if the book is in front of you, I want you to take a look at part B and tick the phrases that you can hear.
اصلا من ندارم اینو چرا.
You have it on page
91.
yeah. Okay. So you are going to do two things. What was the first one?
What did she find easy?
And then you will tick
Okay.
only the ones you can hear. Wait a minute and let
Okay.
me start playing. Let's go.
Unit 7. Recording 8.
A couple of years ago, I learnt how to scuba dive, which was really exciting, really good experience. And when you're learning, half of the training is in a classroom and half is a practical in a swimming pool. So the classroom stuff was fine. I found it really quite easy. I was learning with my mum and she was really worried about doing the kind of more academic stuff and passing the exam, but I found that part okay. It was the practical stuff that I had trouble with, and she was really lucky. She was really good. But you go and you learn all the technical stuff, you know, how to go under the water, how to clear your mask if you get water in it, that kind of thing. And then you have to do 2 dives outside in a kind of reservoir or a quarry or, you know, something like that. But obviously, because I'm in the UK, it was really, really cold. And we woke up on the morning of our dive and there was ice on the water. So when we got there, we were very nervous and didn't want to get into the water. But once I was in, it was so freezing that I tried to go under the water. But the more I tried, the harder it got. And then I got very frustrated and started to cry. And then all my ears got blocked up and I couldn't get under. But eventually I managed it and went down, passed my test, did all of the skills that you need to do. Despite the fact I was so terrible at it, I managed to pass. And now I'm passed, I can go anywhere I want, so I'll make sure it will be somewhere very hot. So to sum up, although it was a really difficult challenge, I'm so glad I managed it. For me, it was quite an achievement, and I'm proud of myself for having done it.
All right.
Okay.
So
the question.
yeah, the first one.
What did she find easy? I think the learning this sport.
Was it the practical part or the theory?
That was 2 parts. That was a class, and the other one is the practicing.
Which one was easy for her?
For her,
one of them was easy. Which one? Was it the theory part or the practical part that was really
practical
easy?
part, I think.
So the practical part, going in the water, was easier for her?
I think. What?
Now you are not sure anymore, huh? Yeah, it was a class. I mean, in theory she could do it and it was easy for her, but you know, the freezing water, that was the hard part. Okay, tell me, what did you hear?
I found it really easy. And the other one, we were very nervous.
What about this one? It was the blah 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 part I had trouble with. Didn't you hear that? No, just did you hear it?
Yes.
Yeah, because she said, so like it was the practical part I had trouble with. So we also heard it was the I had trouble with. So you can put a tick next to it. What else did you hear?
We were very nervous.
Good.
At first, I couldn't, but
did
then
you
I
hear?
started.
I didn't hear this one, but okay, if you heard it.
خب من الان فهمیدم چی شد.
You ticked all of them?
No, Asan, I didn't take.
You didn't take any of them. So what did you
Yes.
do?
Just I underlined some of that.
Some of them that you heard?
Yes.
It's okay. Go on. It's the same thing. There's no difference between ticking and underlining. Go on.
And I think the other one is one thing I tried.
Okay. One thing I tried.
I don't know. And the other one,
I also
I
heard,
didn't.
I mean, when she was going into the water, she said, I got very frustrated. Like when it was freezing and she was going, I guess I heard this one.
Yeah, I think this one is about the next one.
Okay.
And the other one, I try to blah, blah, blah.
I tried to experiment with it. Okay.
But it didn't work.
But and this one, it was a really difficult, at the end, she said it was really difficult challenge. It was a really difficult experience. Yeah, I also heard this one. All right, good. So tell me something, Marjan. We are using all of these beautiful key phrases to talk about our
our experience or
what kind of experience? Achievements. Oh, very good. And also the things that are like when she was going down that water and it was really freezing. What was it for her?
And everything that were hard for us, for
a kind of challenge, right? So so for challenges, for our achievements. Speaking of that, what was your challenge, babe? It's your turn. So for example, think about it. Have you ever, I mean, learned a new sport that you found it really challenging, or learning how to drive, or I don't know, a course that you've started, a skill you wanted to learn? Think about it. Choose. Did you?
Okay. For example, yoga.
All right. Now I want you to think, and I want you to take notes of all of these questions. You will have 1 minute, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes to take notes. Then you'll tell me about it. Take notes. Let me see your paper.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. I can say about learning lifeguarding.
How to become a lifeguard. Oh, why not? Go on. Remember.
I should start.
Wait, remember, why are you taking notes? I love that part. You're taking notes because you need to choose some of these key phrases. These are important for us.
I found it really easy. It means that was easy for me, or
there's no or.
And
All right,
Okay.
begin.
Okay. I want to talk about learning and lifeguarding, and I find it really easy because I really love swimming, and I was so exciting about that, about learning lifeguarding, because I think that was 10 years ago, and that time I really liked swimming, and most of the time I was in pool.
Oh my God, so
Yeah,
cool.
and the swimming was very uh, uh, interesting for me because I find that I can use the swimming in a best way, and I can use swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started learning. Started learning the lifeguarding, and that was a good experience for me. And I had a coach.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
I had a coach that she learned me, and that that that, that uh, there wasn't any special challenge. Just the important thing that
Really, it
I
was
should
not challenging for you?
not
Um,
the challenge, but
I
no,
have
no.
been in the training before. I was not, I mean, a trainee, but I have been there. It's hard.
It's hard. I mean, that wasn't a big challenge. That was a easy challenge.
Uh-huh.
That you
And
should.
and did you try any special techniques?
Yes, she learned me, but I don't remember now. And the important thing about the breathing and the
What is
the
it? The important thing about breathing?
that you should take your breath.
Okay.
That you can control the breath in under the water.
Uh-huh.
You should for
How
example,
should I control it?
I don't remember now. It was about 10 years
God, what do you
ago.
remember? It's really interesting.
I don't remember. That was some practicing. That, for
Uh-huh.
example, you should go under the water, for example, for 5 minutes, for
Oh my
example.
God. I
And
can't.
every
Can you?
session, it goes up. It was, it was go up. It no, it went up.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And the other
Like
one,
how
it's
much are we talking about? How much did it go up?
I don't know because I didn't finish the course. Yeah. because
So it is
the
definitely
time
an achievement we are talking about. Good.
that I couldn't done it because
Uh-huh.
that was the time in Ramadan
Ah,
and
my
the pool
God.
was closed. Yes, and but that was a good experience for me. I liked
You. Mhm. All
that
right.
time.
So you think that you succeeded for the part that you were in those
In
sessions?
short
You
time,
succeeded.
yes, yes.
Okay. What was the experience like? I mean, what did you learn about yourself?
Um, I learned that everything that really I like it. It feels like, you know, you feel uh, you're alive,
Mm-hmm.
and gives you some energy that you can't give it from another thing.
Okay, good. Let's wait right there. How many of them did you use, Marjan?
I think
I heard I found it. I heard this one.
uh,
And
one
that's
thing and right. No, I started to. No,
Which one? Ah, I started
to.
Okay.
No. چرا البته
I didn't hear anything else. Did you really use anything else? What?
I try گفتم.
I tried to, okay. Or I experimented with.
And I can say, for example, it was a good challenge for me.
A good challenge. Okay, interesting. All right, it was great. Thank you. You tried your best. We don't really want to push them, but when you want to talk about challenges, these are really nice key phrases you can use. Let's move into this part, an internet post again about a beautiful challenge, actually. Oh, it says a beautiful language. So look at the text and tell me what was Jim's challenge and what helped him to learn.
Okay. Beautiful language.
Yeah, you are reading it just like always. You're reading it loudly for all of the teachers to hear you. Go on.
I was never very good at languages when I was at a school. So learning Welsh
it's a language.
Was a huge challenge for me. I wanted to learn Welsh because I was living in Wales and my wife spoke Welsh. So I decided to enroll for a course at the university and go for classes twice a week. I soon fell in love with the language. It's so gentle and musical. I began to realize how many people living around the loved and treasured their national language. Welsh has beautiful expressions and has often been called the language of poets. It's not an easy language to learn, but it's very satisfying. I feel like I've achieved a lot. Now when I go into my local shop, I try to speak to people in Welsh. I'm sure I make a lot of mistakes, but everyone is very kind to me and they always smile.
Interesting. So what was Jim's challenge?
His challenge is he wanted to he had to actually learn a new language because his wife is she's another she's from Wales and he had to
you know where Wales is, right? Do you know where it is? It's a part of England, just like London. Okay, another city. Okay.
And he had to learn a new language, and he signed a class in university, and he started to speak Welsh, and he.
So what helped him? It was the class. He went to a class. Was it?
A class, and for example, he loved this language because of the it's musical and treasured.
Oh, wait right there, Marjan. I didn't ask why he loved it, okay? I asked what helped him to learn. I know that he loved it. I want to know what helped him to learn.
What helped him? I don't know.
So take another look at the text. Yeah, what helped him to learn the language?
I can't find.
You already said one of them, like in the fourth line. Take a look. I decided to.
Enroll for a course at the university.
And go for classes. This was one of them. And there is another one, like when he made mistakes, did people laugh at him and mock him?
No, the people was kind with him.
Yeah, people were kind.
He had some mistake, but the people
people were kind. His wife, I mean, was Welsh, so all of them made him learn easily. Alrighty, this is actually a good opportunity for us, Marjan. Let's talk about your journey of learning English together. So again, we have got these key phrases, all right? And again, you want to talk about your challenge here. This time, focusing on learning English. So just take a minute, all right? Take some notes, this time about how you started learning English. What was your challenge? Where were you? How did you feel? Look at the questions and take notes. And remember, the key phrases are important for us.
Experimented, it's a verb of experience.
The same, experiment, okay? The same as try. Yeah, it's a synonym.
And
Are you ready?
yes. No. Okay.
Go ahead, let's begin.
Uh,
So what was your challenge?
My challenge is learning English.
Is it still?
Class. No, just
or was
talking about.
Oh, okay. Because
That
you said
was.
it's okay. No, if it is, it's okay. If it is,
No.
it's still a challenge. Go on.
No, my challenge was about English class. For example, 3 years ago, and I find it quite difficult because I hadn't any English class for a long time, and for start the class was very hard for me. I started face-to-face class for 2 years, but I hadn't a good experience of that, And again, after a long
What
time,
was it like? What was it like that you didn't have a good experience? I mean,
it wasn't.
did you get annoyed or frustrated in class?
It gave me a good result. I not frustrated.
Was it tiring? Did you get tired?
The result wasn't good for me.
Okay, go on.
And again, after 2 years that I had a face-to-face class, I tried to have an online class. And
so what did classes, I mean, either online or face-to-face, what did the class involve? What did you do in class?
The online class was more interesting and more motivated. Motivation or motivated.
You were, I don't know.
The class makes me more motivated.
Now it feels better.
Motivated, and it been push me all the time. Push me to study more study or learn more than before. And
did you try any special techniques?
We can say the way that we practice or studying are there are some techniques, and that was new for me, and I like that. And eventually, yes, I have the online class for about more and a year or more a year.
More than a year.
More than a year.
More than a year. I was like more than a year. More than a year. Okay.
More than a year. And
how do you feel about it now?
I feel it works for me.
Good. Thank you. How many of the key phrases did you use, Marjan?
I think 4.
That's great. Yeah, it was more this time. I guess you used I found it. And what else? Tell me.
I experimented.
I experimented with eventually. Yeah, you used eventually. I remember I heard it. And that's it. It is not in the key phrases, but the woman said it. Yeah. Yeah. Here. Eventually, I managed it. Good. That's interesting. We did our best. For next session, I mean, with all of the other things that you have to do, you're also gonna work on part B. This website publishes stories. Imagine this website that we had this story from publishes stories from the public about their achievements, their experiences. You can either talk about becoming a lifeguard, okay, that you said, or learn how you started your journey of learning English. And you're going to use these bold words and write your experience. Use 120, between 120 to 180 words, all right?
Okay.
All right, well, now that you have watched the video of the lesson, let's talk about this lesson. Well, in this lesson, I guess my objective was met. I know, some of you may say like, when she was speaking, she didn't use those key phrases that you gave her. Yes, but we cannot push them. We cannot push our students in a speaking session to use all of those key phrases that are given. We can ask them Again, some people are against it, but I think it works. We can make them aware of the objective of the session. I mean, why should we hide it from them? It doesn't make sense to me. We can simply, we are not going to push them, but we can ask them to use the key phrases. And even if you have noticed at the end, after she read that reading, after the speaking part, she had one short reading. After she read it, then we got the chance to again go back and activate those key phrases. So yeah, plan A didn't really work as far as, as much as I wanted it to, but plan B sort of worked with those key phrases. When I was giving instructions, I was sort of confident. I was checking my instructions. When she had to do two things at the same time, she needed to listen to the listening, answer to one question, and then tick those key phrases. I remembered to check my instructions one more time with her. It was not like an ICQ, but I checked that she understood exactly what she was doing, which is important when we want them to do two things at the same time. I think the context was sort of set in the beginning of the lesson. I tried to use some personalized examples related to her own country, her own hometown, like the people, famous people that she knew. So I think, yeah, the context was set. About the scuba diving, I really didn't think that she would need it when she was gonna, talk about that sport. But now that I'm thinking, maybe for the next lesson, I'm gonna pre-teach that vocabulary item before my student starts listening to that recording. Maybe in my context, when I'm setting the scene, I will actually teach that blocking vocabulary item because it was a blocking vocabulary item. I mean, not blocking for her to understand the listening, but it was hard for her to tell me what happened or to answer those questions that she had afterwards without that vocabulary item. So from now on, I'm gonna remember to anticipate this too, that can my student really answer the questions if she doesn't know this vocabulary item or not? One thing that students are actually against, without saying actually, they try to hide it, they try to ditch it somehow, is taking notes while preparing themselves for a speaking activity. It's really beneficial for them because it can help them organize their mind pretty well. So try to just, without pushing them that hard, push them. I think, yeah, that's the way. Just push them to start doing it, to make it a habit for themselves. Because especially if the student is preparing herself or himself for IELTS test, this is something that they need to be good at. Or even if they want to have like presentations, lectures somewhere, it's going to be necessary for them. Even I think sometimes to keep the conversation going for day-to-day activities, we need to sometimes take notes if it is not our mother tongue language. For example, my friend here, she sort of speaks some Turkish, so she's better than me. I have seen her taking notes whenever she wants to go to an office, like she needs to do something in the bank or the hospital. She starts checking the vocabulary items she needs, and that's how she manages her day-to-day activities. So they need to learn that taking notes is gonna be really important for them. It's gonna prepare them for any sort of speaking or even writing tasks. So I guess I did that too with a kind of joke to her. I told her, okay, let me see your paper. Are you taking notes or not? Again, some of them may ditch it, but try to just make it a habit because it will be good for themselves. All right, I think we're done and it's time to say goodbye. Just like always, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share the video with any other teacher that you know that this lesson might be useful for her. And I love you. Bye-bye.